Sunday afternoon, the Rockbridge Historical Society is presenting Sisters at the Loom, a program about local families and the fabrics they produced during the 19th century. Tonight, senior reporter Joe DeShiel explains how a process of research and rediscovery unlocked new details about the people and patterns of Rockbridge County.
I'm used to doing this with my bare feet.
Frances Richardson sits at her 19th century loom, demonstrating techniques that were used in Rockbridge County 200 years ago.
Go on. There we go.
The piece of historic fabric coming to life in front of her is more than an educated guess. The design is from a draft, a handwritten record of the pattern, and one of 21 found in the Washington and Lee University Special Collections among the papers of the Bear family.
And we've been working on translating them into the kind of pattern that a modern weaver could interpret, so that we can make some samples and so we'd know exactly what was being woven here in the 19th century, which is pretty exciting because it's not just speculation.
Richardson's loom is the centerpiece of an exhibit at the Rockbridge Historical Society, featuring original examples of the county's weaving heritage and the new production of historic designs by Richardson and more than a dozen other expert weavers.
Coverlet like this one has been in our collections. It's been tied to families that have been important in our collections in county history. We've marveled at its condition, the way it speaks to everyday life. But now to be able to see, in effect, the origins of something like that, what literally are the codes, they almost look like computer punch codes from the 1950s.
Most of the designs featured in the exhibit are for fancy fabrics, made for bed covers and table linen, for example. But Richardson's research also revealed how weavers produced the utilitarian cloth they could trade at a general store nearby. And she has the entries from the store's daybook to prove it.
So we not only had a view of, these fabulous, things, but we also had a little glimpse into how their life worked. And so we have Mrs. Bear going into the store with 14 yards of boring fabric and coming out with a pair of shoes and a black silk handkerchief and 8 glass knobs. So we had this lovely glimpse of how the family economy worked.
And Richardson hopes people who see the exhibit will be impressed by more than an artful design with Rockbridge County roots.
Well, I hope what they'll take away is an appreciation of how everyday life worked and how hard it was to get everyday life lived.
In Lexington, Joe DeShiel, WDBJ 7.